One prominent Democrat who's not included in that number is Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland. Raskin has not publicly called on the president to exit the race, but he did write a 4-page letter to Biden earlier this month about his decision, writing, "No one envies the choice you must make now, Mr. President. But remember this as the great politician you are and always have been. I want to leave you with a final thought about baseball, the American game where even the finest pitchers have only around 110 pitches in them before their arms tire and begin to give out. There is no shame in taking a well-deserved bow to the overflowing appreciation of the crowd when your arm is tired out, and there is real danger for the team in ignoring the statistics." And Congressman Jamie Raskin joins me now. When did you write that letter and why, Congressman?
I wrote it over the 4th of July weekend, Chris, and it was just because of all of the concern and consternation I was hearing through the 4th of July weekend at different parades and events and so on. And the reason I ended up releasing the whole letter was precisely so that snippets wouldn't be taken out to make it look as if I was telling the president to do one thing or another. I wasn't. I was just saying we need to incorporate the whole team in the process of this consultation, in the process of this decision making. And I felt like that we needed to have that. And I think we've had that. I think that the president has heard from governors and he's heard from mayors and he's heard from members of the House and members of the Senate. He's heard from his own team and family. And I think, you know, he won the primaries and he won the delegates, and he's going to get to decide this issue. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody's on the inside of it and everybody's point of view is heard. We are going to have tremendous unity and focus to go out and to defend all of the policy gains that have been made under Biden and our democracy and our freedom. And you know, we are not a cult of authoritarian personality like what you just saw on display in the Republican convention. We are not aiming for a monarchy or a dictatorship. We are the Democratic Party, which means we listen to the people at every level. And fortunately, we've got a great leader in Joe Biden who believes in democratic politics. And that's where we are now. And I'm confident we're going to get through this period quickly with great unity and great focus to go out and defeat the Republicans.
Well, I'm happy to hear that confidence. I don't know how. I mean, I think I am confident in that, I guess. I mean, here's one thing that I've been using the same metaphor in talking to people because I've had all these conversations. Exactly the same metaphor. And the reason that I think it's very apposite is because in every case in which the pitcher is on the mound in a high leverage game, right? Starting pitcher, star starting pitcher, the best pitcher, they don't want to come out of the game because the kind of person that gets themselves into the position to be pitching in that situation is a person who thinks I can get the next 3 outs. The kind of person who spends 50 years in one of the most sort of successful political careers probably in the history of American politics, from winning election at the age of 29 on the border of being constitutionally eligible to being president at the age of 81. Like, that is a person who genuinely believes he can do it. And that to me is that is the difficult thing here is I don't think it's truculence or stubbornness. It's a genuine belief. Hey, I've been doing this for 50 years.
Totally with you on this. And if it were just a question of subjective will, nobody has more heart than Joe Biden. Nobody. And nobody's got more fight than Joe Biden. And he has the heart to go out and do it. But the reason why I use that metaphor, and I don't know if you got to it first or I got to it first, Chris, but the reason I use it is because the subjective will is an important ingredient. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient.
Correct.
You want to look also at the objective conditions and the data and the statistics such as they exist. But that's not determinative or controlling either. And that's why I've said from the beginning, I'm not going to weigh in and tell Joe Biden, and I said in that letter, to do this or do that. But I do think it's important to listen to the whole team because he's our star pitcher, as I said at the end, but he's also our manager, but he's kind of like a co-manager because it's not just the presidency, it's the Senate, it's the House, the whole government is on the line. So we need all of our best minds working together.
And that's why this is so wrenching. There is no real manager. He is the manager. And everyone now is on the mound in this very high leverage situation with a ton of pressure, basically having a conversation on the mound about, are we going to the bullpen here? I mean, and you can imagine how fraught that would be, even in the low stakes universe of the baseball game. This is the highest possible stakes.
look, that's democracy. You want dictatorship? Go live under Vladimir Putin or Viktor Orban or Donald Trump. I mean, this is democracy in action, and we are the Democracy Party. And that's for real. But I do think we're coming to the very end of the process. And I think that the Democratic Party is going to be not 100, but 1,000% unified behind whatever decision Joe Biden makes. And we're going to be out there fighting for democracy and for freedom. We're going to be fighting against, all the extremism and the authoritarianism that we just saw coming out of Milwaukee, of all cities, that great progressive city, from the Republicans. And with their new vice president, where they've doubled down on MAGA, and you've got, this Yale Law School preening faux hillbilly extremist who has, run around the country saying he's completely against abortion, even in cases in rape and incest. And so whether it's President Biden, Vice President Harris, the rest of the party, we are all going to be out there talking about the absolute extremism of this party, which not only doesn't want to do anything about climate change, it wants to reverse all the progress we've made, and it wants to ban the use of the words climate change in the federal government. If you read Project 2025, which is a blueprint for American authoritarianism.
They call it a whole-of-government approach to undoing what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done on the climate. Congressman Jamie Raskin, thank you very much.